well, meet the greatness, and today's greatness is none other than our Dr. Halima Sadia. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome to the Meet the Greatness, and we are so happy to have you here.
Thank you, Zoena. Thank you very much for inviting me.
It's a great pleasure for us, ma'am, because we are all looking forward to learn from you from a different platform, from a different perception. Leaving the very professional side away to have a very simple chit chat with you. So, ma'am, how are you today, and how's your great plans, which I know that you have on a daily basis?
I'm fantastic today, and as every day I'm on cloud 9. Today I'm on cloud 9, and the day is full of meetings, full of activities, and full of life. Work is life.
That is great, ma'am. Ma'am, at some point, have you felt like with all your daily schedule and everything, do you feel overwhelmed? Do you feel like, no, today I will not be working? Or because we are just climbing up still. So we feel like that. What would be your advice to us, ma'am?
I don't think that work gives us we are tired of the work, because work is life. So if someday you wake up and you find there is no work, then really that is matter of worry. Then what to do today? How to reach to the people, how to interact with the people, how to mingle with the people, because that gives you energy and that gives you the drive to move on.
Wow, so that is because a lot of people say that work is different. You have to keep work separately, life separately. But I don't see that in you. You are still happy and very content, and work is life for you. It is together. It's one thing. Am I correct, ma'am?
Yes, you are 100% correct. Work is life and life is work. And I don't find that I am working. I find that I am enjoying.
Wow, amazing. Magical words, ma'am. Thank you. And then, what are you today, ma'am? What, in your own perspective, what are you today?
I am today the one who is igniting the minds, the one who is lighting the fire, the one who is making the way for others, creating the ambience for them to learn, the one who is building the nation, the one who is the role model of millions, the one millions of eyes are on her. Now you should have understood by this time that I am a teacher.
Definitely.
So I was a teacher, I am a teacher, and I will be a teacher.
Amazing, ma'am. Ma'am, it's so nice that to hear so much positivity about teachers, me being a teacher as well. Because sometimes we feel so demotivated as teachers also. And when I saw your program Motivate Million Teachers, it was mind-blowing. At the beginning, I was like, what is this thing? How does it motivate people? It's just there on this. But then when it was my turn to be on that, I felt superb. I felt great as a teacher as well. And what you do is a great service, ma'am. Ma'am, by doing all this, is there any, you have some achievements, you have lots of goals, and I seriously can't put my finger into one and say that maybe this is yours, okay, because you've just covered up all the aspects, I would say. And ma'am, if I have to ask, what would you would have faced to reach in these places? Have you faced jealousy? Have you faced issues coming up, and how did you face them?
Yes, well, first of all, your title of the program is Meet Greatness. So to be very frank, I am not great.
I am not great. I am a humble to all of us.
I am a humble person. Yes, I try to do a few things. And whatever I have achieved so far, as you are saying that anytime I felt jealousy, no, not at all. Because I always found myself at a place where I wanted to be and what I wanted to achieve in life. So there was nothing to be jealous of, or there is nothing to envy. Like suppose if you say that Aishwarya Rai is so beautiful. So I appreciate her beauty, but I am not jealous because I never wanted to be beautiful in life. So whatever I am. I'm satisfied with that. And if you say that, okay, now Bill Gates is a billionaire. So I'm happy that Bill Gates is billionaire, but I'm not jealous because I don't want to be billionaire. I'm happy with whatever I have. So I'm happy with myself, and I want to improve myself, my version of self every day. And that is my race. That is my challenge to myself, that today I have to be better than yesterday. So yes, I have race with me, I have competition with me, but I don't have any envy or any jealous. Yes, envy I have sometimes with the people who are like great knowledgeable people. And when I saw the people speaking so nicely, effectively, the people writing great books, the people who are expressing the feelings, and they are trying, like they are so keen observer that they are observing and minutely to and reading the faces of the people and trying to bring them out through their writings, through their speeches, through their deliveries. So yes, sometimes I feel that yes, one day I also have to be like them, and I have to be more beneficial for the people in whatever way I can be.
Wow, amazing words, ma'am. Actually, ma'am, one more thing is that a lot of like few of my colleagues, they feel like they're too old to be having goals and make plans. They're too tired for all that. They think that it has to happen only at an early stage. As soon as you pass that level, then you can reach whatever it is. So, what would be your advice for them, ma'am?
Age is just numbers, nothing else. You can be as enthusiastic as 16 years of age at the age of 60. It all depends on the heart. If your heart is young, if your heart is energetic, if your heart is enthusiastic, and for that, one driving force behind your energy is the love. If you love the people, if you love what you do, if you love this world, if you love the entire things in this world, if you love the plants, flowers, rivers, mountains, animals, then you will find that lots of energy in you, because they all are surrounded for you. So if you are energetic, there is no age. Age is just a number.
Is energetic, being energetic, does it come naturally or do we have to build it in ourselves?
It doesn't come naturally, of course. We have to build it. We have to work upon on it. And when the day starts with with being with the nature, with exercising, with having breathing exercises, going out, having walk, and in the calmness of morning, when entire world is sleeping, or maybe a few of them are doing like you, and then you find that everything is silent and there is a voice in the silence. And then you try to listen to that voice, what each and every petal of flower is conveying the message to you, what these leaves are conveying to you. So that is the time when you take as much energy as possible. Sometimes I used to say to the people that early morning I move out with so that I can fill my lungs with the oxygen, fresh oxygen, as if in Delhi the it was very polluted before lockdown. Now thank God that lockdown is there and the pollution is lesser than before. So that is, from there you can get more. You be with the nature, more you can get the energy from the nature inside you.
Wow, so if you can't find energy from anywhere else, it's the nature we can always turn into. Yes, golden words, ma'am. Ma'am, so you have had achievements, goals. From what age did you have a plan on having goals, and how did you make the achievement plan? How did you plan to get there?
So, to be very frank, when I was a child, I was very carefree and happy going child. And one thing was there, that one day I wore a sari of my mother, okay? That was yellow color sari as a child. And my brother was very angry on this because, my brother was very strict. The girls should not wear anything, no earring, no finger ring, no bangles, no kajal, no lipstick, nothing. And they should be very simple. That was my brother. So he was very angry. But the moment I move out of the room, wearing that sari, I just wrapped it, in whatever way I could as a child. My nani, like my grandmother and my mother, both of them said, "Oh, you are looking like a doctor." So that was a moment when I realized that maybe I can be a doctor because I look like a doctor.
Oh, wow.
So till the age of 8 or 9, that was my ambition to be a doctor. But somehow the situation was such that I was sent to a hostel, and there I studied the arts. And then I could not pursue my ambition of being a doctor. Then there was a lady who used to come, and I used to see her from my window. She used to wear a white sari with red border, that typical Bengali sari. So she used to come with the pallu like here and one umbrella in the hand, and she used to distribute something to a government school. I was so much fascinated looking at her, and I used to think, oh, one day I am going to be like her. I am going to be the teacher. So that lady is the reason why I am a teacher today here. So of course I wanted to be a teacher because this teaching is in my family. My grandfather was a doctor. My paternal and maternal, both the grandfathers were teachers. My father teacher, my brother is teacher, my sisters are teachers. So this is into our blood. Wow. That was in my mind, and of course I wanted to be the teacher of higher education, like I wanted to be the lecturer or the professor. But somehow destiny has landed me in this school, and I'm very happy with the school children. And it was really like 29 years I have spent with the school children, and that moment are memorable moments for me.
So what you are saying is, in a short way, like one day when we achieve our goals, we will really, really be content and happy. I can see it from your smile and your eyes, the way you discuss about it. Even that small day's dream which you want to achieve, you have come there in a different way, in a different aspect, but alhamdulillah, you're so content and enjoying it, ma'am. So that's great. It's really nice. So ma'am, you get help. Like, how did you find help to get climb this ladder, build yourself?
Of course, the Rome was not built in a day, so you cannot achieve the things overnight. Even being a teacher, and that too in the well-established schools, it's not an easy job in today's world. And moreover, being a teacher, I'm more proud of my own personality, as the people have shaped me. And I must name a few people who have contributed, giving you the positive outlook towards the world, and then making you realize that you are not only for yourself, you are for the world, and your existence is for the people, and you have to be more beneficial for them. So all these values that has been imbibed in me by few people, like first of all my father. He's always been a role model for me, and I have never seen him discussing with me or with the children about the worldly thing. I was thinking that he is somebody who is from the other planet, like who doesn't believe into money, into luxurious life, into big buildings, into big sofas and other things. He never discussed such type of things with us. He used to discuss always the story of great people, and the achievements of great people, and the stories of prophets, the story of awliyas, and these type of things. And he used to always motivate us for the learning. So he was the first mentor. Then when I went to a hostel in Azamgarh, there I had a mentor whose name was Nurul An Usmani Sahab. He was the secretary of the school. His way of teaching was such that when every time he used to recite the verses of Allama Iqbal, and Allama Iqbal's couplets are so motivating. सितारों से आगे जहां और भी हैं, अभी इश्क के इम्तिहान और भी हैं. So if you are listening early morning, these type of things, that the sky is not the limit, then naturally as a child you start believing in this, that we have to move forward, we have to go, we have to achieve greater heights. So he was the one, and he used to keep on questioning. The questioning was his major skills of training any child. So every time he used to ask me the questions. And then after that, when I came to Delhi and joined Hamdard Public School, there I had as a mentor Janab Syed Hamid Sahab, who was the Vice Chancellor of Aligarh Muslim University. And then after that, he joined Hamdard Foundation as secretary. So he was such a humble person and just a thorough gentleman, you can say. And he has given me the values and ethics as a teacher. I remember one incident I must narrate here, that one day I took the children for the competition. And in the competition, our children achieved second position. Although the child was excellent in his speech, but he got second position, and the first position was given to the host school. when I came, I naturally we used to go to him and meet him and then give him the good news that we achieved these things. So I said, sir, our child was like so excellent. Everybody has appreciated, but they have given the first position to the whole school, not to our child. So then he said, okay, maybe next time we will get, and congratulated. He congratulated to the child and shook hand, and these things were there. Then afterwards, when we came back to the school, he sent a slip for me, calling me separately in private. So I went to his office. Then he said that congratulations that you have worked so hard. A child was able to get the prize. But I must advise you one thing. Then when you were telling them that there was not right judgment, you should have not said in front of the child. Otherwise, the child will lose faith in all these type of competitions. And the child in future will not participate in the competitions thinking that there won't be any fair judgment. The people are going to do unfair judgment. So to have the faith in the competitions and in the judgments, we should always appreciate the decision of the judges. Whatever they decided second position, fair enough. We are happy with that. So that teaching was so great. I never realized that in this way we have to give the values to the children so that they can lead successful life. So Sayyida Hamid Saha was the one who was a great mentor for me. And there are many other people, like, my students are also my mentors. Sometimes I learn from my students.
I've seen that, ma'am, and you openly accept that as well. And ma'am,
Yes.
this story which you shared with us, it's a great eye-opener even for me. Like, I learned this and I will be carrying this forward with me as well, mashallah. Thank you for sharing that story, ma'am. Ma'am, right. So, who are you as a child, as a teenager, a student, and as a friend? Like, plus some insight, ma'am. I want to know what made you become this great at this time.
As a child, I was a happy child. That I told you that I was like, it is said in my mother tongue, mast malan, like the one who is not bothered about anything. You give me to eat anything, I will eat. I never ask for something special. No, whatever you give me to wear, I wear. Wherever you want to take me, you take me. So I was happy, easygoing child. As a teenager, I was very ambitious. That was the time when I was given lots of, I was taught the meaning of life. So I was very ambitious to do something in my life. And of course, as a friend, I am very loyal because I hardly leave my friends. I always try to catch them up with me. If I am contacting them, that's fair enough. If I am not contacting them, then still they are into my heart. So I am very loyal as a friend. And you said as a student, yes. As a student, the people used to tell me that I have not seen you studying much. Then how you are able to achieve in examination great marks? The reason was that I was always very concentrative in the class. I used to listen to each and every word of the teacher, and those things I used to register in my mind. And I was always the one who initiated the discussion in the class. And when you discuss something, that always remains in your mind. So that was the reason I was not spending much time after the school, but in the class I used to learn. So I was like very, I believe in the concentration. That was my characteristics.
Oh, of course, yes, ma'am. Amazing, really. And so with your replies, I think I'm sure even now students, if they listen to this speech, even mothers, when they listen to this speech, even as teachers, when they listen to this speech, they will definitely learn a whole lot from which whatever you have shared within this short time period with us, ma'am. So in this path, you would have had many realizations. What would you share with us, ma'am, so that we can, carry something with from you?
Okay, I have only 3 realizations. One is the family first. Initially when we are very enthusiastic and we are into any profession and we are the newcomers, we always give the priority to the job. And sometimes we neglect the family. That I also did because that's why I'm advising that is my realization, that we should give the priority to the family. Secondly, we should always love the job, what we are doing. But we should never love the organization. Like in the love of organization and in the love of institution, what we do is that we neglect many things. We neglect our health, we neglect our family, we neglect our happiness. So that should not happen. But yes, of course, we have to focus on our skill. For whatever job we are doing, the skill is very much essential. And third thing is that whomsoever you meet, just make the person feel that you are meeting for the first time and the last time, you know. So never leave any person angry with you or unhappy with you. Always try to pacify the things before leaving. And whenever you meet, you show the enthusiasm as if you are meeting first time. So these are my realization. I actually had a hot talk with a tailor, and then he died, and I could not pacify with him. That regret is still in my mind. I always feel that I would have at least gone to them. I would have said to him that, sorry, I told you these harsh words to you. When I visited next time, I found that he was no more. So we have to make each and every person in this world as very special person. Today we are here, tomorrow either I or either you, anyone may not be there. So we have to end our meeting on the happy note.
Wow, ma'am, you are actually sharing your mistakes so that we can learn from it as well, not just you, and that lesson will not die from you. That, thank you very much, ma'am, for sharing that. It's really like emotional. It is in our mind as well, because it's not just grabbed from anywhere. It is your own experiences, with your knowledge which you have gained, you have shared with us. And Meet Greatness at Rock Zvi Style has got a gorgeous episode, very productive episode with Dr. Halima Saadia. And seriously, I have learned a lot, and I'm sure that everybody else has learned a lot as well. And ma'am, thank you very much for taking your precious time. I know how precious your timing is, because it's very difficult to catch you at any moment, because your schedule is such and you stick to it. You're a person with punctuality, you're a person with enthusiasm and zeal, and you were the person who mentored me as well. So I have thank you for all that. And yes, I knew you a lot about how you. What I saw was you were a great personality, and what you shared with us today, I felt like in my heart you grew even more, ma'am. Thank you very much, so very much for being here today and sharing your experiences and life journey with all of us. Thank you, ma'am, and let's meet all of us. Yes, ma'am. Last words from you for the world.
Yes, thank you, Zoena. Thank you very much. So, Zoena, first of all, love yourself and love everything associated with you. So, I love myself. My name is Halima. I love H, and with H, I'm going to give you 4 things. Just remember those 4 things. One is hard work. You know, don't bother about the honorarium or salary or whatever you are going to get in return. Just work hard. Keep yourself fit and updated for that. Work hard. Hard work is one H. The second H is happiness. The third H is hope. Be always hopeful. Yes, I am going to achieve it. Yes, days are going to come. Days are going to come to rock. And then the last one is humor. Always have humor in your life, you know. Keep on laughing, smiling, and be cheerful like Zoena is.
Oh, ma'am, I'm getting it from you, ma'am. Actually, everything what I do is I have you in my mind. You won't believe, even after I left, okay, even when I was not in touch with you, I used to think in your mind voice. Actually, your voice was my mind voice at a lot of time. I have to say that, ma'am. And I pushed myself thinking that what would Halima ma'am tell me to do at this point. I used to think like that, and I achieved a lot because of this. Because of you being my mentor. Thank you very much, ma'am, for everything. And I'm speaking this, it is from a lot of people. It's not just me, I know that. Thank you, ma'am. Had a lovely day with Meet Greatness at Rock Zvi Style. See you later, people, with another episode. Thank you very much. Subscribe to Halima ma'am's Janeman, and this is Rock Zvi Style. See you. Adios, amigos.